What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, GemMint. Today we're going to do a review on the Absolute Swamp Thing Volume 2 by Alan Moore. I wouldn't get too concerned about spoilers here. There's not really a big plot reveal or anything that you're going to get spoiled on if you've never read this series and you're thinking about getting into it for the first time. We are going to do an overview as far as the construction of the book and what it collects, compare it to Volume 1, and then we'll do some overhead shots and we'll go over the story. Before we get started, check out our sponsor, cheapgraphicnovels.com. They're a great resource to purchase absolute editions like these, as well as omnibus trade paperbacks and deluxe editions. They sell titles up to 50% off cover price with great packaging, super fast shipping, and excellent customer service. If you mention Mint Collectibles in the memo at checkout, your next order will have free shipping if you're in the United States. They also have a bargain bin where you can get titles up to 90% off cover price. cheapgraphicnovels.com. Let me just start off by saying, I think this is one of the best comic books I've ever read. This Swamp Thing run is amazing, and Volume 2 is no exception. When we reviewed Volume 1 a few months ago, I want to say 8 or 9 months ago, that was more of an introduction and origin of the Swamp Thing, a retelling of the character by Alan Moore. Volume 2 has to deal with Swamp Thing learning more about what he is as a Earth elemental, learning more about his powers and being able to essentially teleport, and the introduction of Constantine. Constantine is such a great character right out the gate, man. He is so Constantine, like right away. He finds Swamp Thing in the swamp, and he already knows what type of being that he is. He already knows what he's capable of, more so than Swamp Thing even knows. So he kind of teases him with this promise of knowledge of self if he does some tasks for him, which basically leads him around the world checking out supernatural events. And that leads to a couple of interesting storylines here. You have stuff with underground vampires. You have a story, the first story we're going to look at with Nuke Face, which is basically a creature born out of nuclear waste. We have werewolf stuff. We have zombie stuff. We have interdimensional slaves and slave owners being brought back from the past. So a lot of nice supernatural stories which are self-contained with this overarching story of Constantine kind of trying to help Swamp Thing and really lead him to this big event that's about to happen. The big event, of course, ties in with Crisis on Infinite Earths, although I feel like this is such a better self-contained little story, more so than just a tie-in for a DC event, if you catch my drift. So that's the overall gist of it. The artwork is amazing. Now, there is some who do not like the fact that they've recolored these issues in both of these volumes. But for me, somebody who's reading it the first time in this way, I loved it. I thought the colors were vibrant. They popped. I can understand, wanting the original, which in comparison to me at least looks a little duller. But I absolutely loved the artwork. It was incredible here. There was a few artists on this book, and Alan Moore's storytelling, his concepts more so than the dialogue. His dialogue is good too, but I think he has such cool concepts that deal with different perspectives on death. It deals with different perspectives on good and evil. So his concepts are just amazing, and they really make you think. Let's go ahead and look at these two volumes side by side. We'll do a comparison, and then we'll do a deeper review on Swamp Thing. Alright guys, as you can see, we have Volume 1 on the left, Volume 2 on the right. The first thing you'll notice is that this was originally published under DC Vertigo, which after Volume 1 came out has kind of gone defunct, right? And it's been replaced by DC Black Label. So this is the first printing of Volume 1. The reprint of Volume 1 has the DC Black Label, so that matches now. Alright, so you have Alan Moore, Stephen Arbisetti. We also have John Tolben, Rick Veitch, and Stan Wooch. Let's take a look at the actual spines of the hardcover. So, of course, the labels are different here, but otherwise everything is the same. Beautiful images on the back of the slipcases. And then here we are, the spines of the slipcases, and you can see they kind of form an image together of the swamp. Again, this kind of bothers some people, but if you get the reprint of Volume 1, those logos will match. Volume 2 does have a cover price of $100. Both Absolute Editions are known for having their kind of mossy green felt covers. They look absolutely amazing. You have different Swamp Thing artwork on each cover, and then the back of the book. Alright, so let's jump into Volume 2. I really like how they utilize these pages, man. It's just full of art from top to bottom. Here we have the creative team. Here we have the table of contents. The Nuke Face 2-part story, amazing. All of these issues were bangers, man. So here we go. You get the original covers, and then you have the new coloring here on the right. So like it says above each issue, it's sophisticated suspense. So this first story is about this guy who worked in this town where they were dumping nuclear waste. And Swamp Thing can sense him, right? So he gets up from chilling with Abby, and he goes to find this creature who's kind of like terrorizing people unknowingly. And he actually ends up killing Swamp Thing. Right here in the beginning is where Swamp Thing learns that even though his body may die, he can actually reform himself anywhere within the green. Basically anywhere on Earth that has any type of vegetation, even down to a seed. Now what's interesting is that when he first regenerates, it takes him some time. I forget how long it takes. It's a good amount of time, maybe weeks or so, while Abby's waiting for him, which is his love interest. And then that's when Constantine shows up, right as he's reforming. Actually, you can see Swamp Thing on the cover of issue 37, where he's only halfway grown. And it looks like he grows out of this seed in this can, if I recall, right? Anyway, we get the first introduction of Constantine. He basically lets Swamp Thing know, like, dude, you know that you're an Earth elemental, right? And you can straight reform anywhere you like. Like, why are you taking so long? So he piques Swamp Thing's interest with his knowledge of what he's capable of. Then we get this story. A lot of times it starts off with him and Abby in the swamp, and they're chilling, they're hanging out, and he gets either he gets a feeling, or Swamp Thing kind of says, yo, you need to really show up here at this time if you want my help. So this is like a town that was flooded, but the souls were not able to rest. They became vampires, and it was a cool little horror vampire story. Look at the artwork, man. It's incredible. So Swamp Thing learns that he can actually become more than just himself. He can be the side of a mountain if he wants, So this is him learning his power. This is him reforming in like record time compared to what he was used to doing. Even Constantine checking his watch, like, okay, 51 seconds. He's doing all right. So he gets really confident in that. Check out the artwork, man. It's amazing. Here we have the little werewolf story, which was kind of like a housewife that was treated poorly and kind of rebels, becomes this werewolf. It's a pretty cool little story. And see, here's like a little example of Constantine sending him to these places. Now, Swamp Thing doesn't really trust him. He reluctantly goes. See, there is a ribbon here. He reluctantly goes to these places, and when he finally decides that he doesn't want to listen to Constantine anymore, Constantine's like, fine, don't go there. And he looks at the paper, and it's his hometown, Louisiana, where he was going to go anyway. This was an interesting story of like they were going to shoot this movie on this home, which used to be like a plantation where they had slave owners and slaves, and it's kind of like the aura of the house changes people to make them think they're those people from the past, and then it kind of turns into like a zombie thing. This was awesome. This issue, and it's funny because it said it was the winner of 2 1984 Eagle Awards. Swamp Thing can grow like these yams on his back, right? But this hippie finds it, and it has like psychedelic properties to it. So this whole story is like a dying woman that takes a bite, and then this kind of like drug addict guy who takes another bite. Now she ends up seeing her death as like this beautiful scene, but he ends up seeing his death and like the life itself as this dark, rotting, decaying thing. So I thought this was an excellent issue, how each page, it looks at the same thing from 2 different perspectives. So awesome, like so beautiful and so ugly at the same time. So it was a great issue, man. Yeah, then you had this issue, like Swamp Thing shows up unannounced to his girl's house. He just threw the drain. She wasn't really feeling it. This is the Boogeyman issue. I like how Swamp Thing starts realizing that he can like change his form as he wishes as well. I really like this look on him. So this one says Crisis crossover, and the only thing that's kind of Crisis, like a lot of tie-ins during this time, was that they had a red sky, because that's what was going on during Crisis in Infinite Earths. But really, the Swamp Thing stories are so self-contained, and it's just Constantine trying to have Swamp Thing find out his purpose and how he's able to combat the incoming threat. What's really dope is that Swamp Thing is able to go to the Parliament, which is kind of like the graveyard of all the prior Swamp Things, which we'll see here in a moment. Here it is. Awesome scene. So he gets to go into like the hive mind of all the prior Earth elementals. And you know, the advice they give him is a little bit vague and confusing to him. Then we get into the last 3 issues, which have to do with the Crow bringing the Black Pearl to the basically embodiment of evil, which is the end here. I'm not going to really get into it because that one is a little bit spoilerish. If anything is possible to be spoiled in this issue, it would be it. But you get Etrigan, you get Cain and Abel, so a lot of like Neil Gaiman's Sandman universe stuff, the Spectre, Dr. Fate, and all that. So great issue. Then at the end, we get some Stephen Bassetti pencils and sketches, along with Alan Moore scripts, which is amazing to see how much thought Alan Moore puts into the paneling and what panel will go where and what it'll look like. So it's not just that he writes these word bubbles and says, you know, draw it out. It ain't the Mary Marvel method. He really puts a lot of thought into how the comic turns out. So just to give you an idea of the little bonuses, and in case you guys missed my my haul video when I first got this in, the binding of this book is great, guys. There's no tightness to it. You can see like you have the eye of the book where the pages can spread out freely, and none of the pages are coming unglued from the ribbon. So it does have excellent binding, if you guys were curious about that. Alright guys, that's my review on Absolute Swamp Thing Volume 2 by Alan Moore. I cannot recommend this run enough. There will be one more volume which will finish Alan Moore's run, and I cannot wait to pick that up. Let me know what you think about Swamp Thing in the comments down below, and we are currently doing a giveaway where you can win one of 3 prizes. Check out the details on how to enter. All you have to do to enter the giveaway is be subscribed to the channel, leave a like on this video, and comment below. Once we hit 97,500 subscribers, we're going to pick a random video where I promoted this giveaway and draw a winner based on a YouTube random comment generator during one of our live streams. You'll be able to tell when the winner is drawn because the live stream will say the subscriber number and giveaway in the title. So make sure that you're subscribed, leave a like and a comment, and good luck.